Hi, folks. Larry Rolla here with my two pals, Joe and Eddie, and we're
Hello.
waiting for Anthony. That'll be on any minute.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, Ed.
Hey, what's up, Larry? How you doing, buddy? You okay?
I just want you to know I got all the messages you sent me,
Okay.
and I didn't read any of them
I
because
know.
I figured you talk about it tonight. So I was very busy today, and tomorrow I'll be very, very busy.
All right. What's going on? Everything good?
Yeah, we're waiting for Anthony. Anthony should be on in any second now. He said he just got home. He's booting up his computer, and then we'll start.
What
Frank,
do you think of the Kentucky Derby?
Me and Joe are the handicappers. So you guys forget about it. You can't pick your nose.
I didn't pick. I didn't pick nothing.
Oh, all the three handicappers you had on.
The one bet I make a year, I hit the triple.
Me and Joe hit the triple.
You did?
Yeah.
I hit it 3 times.
What did it pay?
115 clams.
It was $2.40 for $1
Yeah.
over here. Better than Dana Beach Highlight. I don't bet no more. But the Kentucky Derby, when I was working when I was doing the Storage Wars, there was some guys. It was at the old dog track in Hallandale, and there was a security guard that played the horses. My cousin Richie from the Bronx, the shoe we used to call him, was a real good handicapper, and Ralph Silvestri. They used to bet every Saturday, and they always asked me, "Come in, Joe, come in." I said, "No, I ain't betting." I said, "The Kentucky Derby is the only day I'll make a bet." So we bet 4 years in a row. One died, then the next guy died, and now 2 years ago it was just me. And I'm saying, you know what? I got to continue this. Don't you know I hit the superfecta for like close to 10,000? Medina Spirit one, that was died like a year later. That one, it was 4 of them across the track, and I hit it just like that. I boxed 4 horses, $48, and no, I boxed 4 horses in the super and 4 horses in the triple. But the super come back 9,000 and change.
You hit that?
Not this year.
No,
3 years ago, after everybody died, I was on my own.
No.
And then this year I boxed the super. I had 3 of the 4, and I boxed the triple. The same. I keyed the 17 and the 18, and my independent got gas money.
You got coupons out.
That's the best day to bet. You got a lot of value. You know, you can hit a home run.
That's what I like. I like to bet the Breeders' Cup Day and the Derby and the big races. These other fly. I don't even bet my horses that.
I know nothing about the thoroughbreds. Nothing at all. I just look at names. I look at this. I look at that. Whatever I come up with, I come up with.
Well, I think Anthony's on here.
He's on.
Anthony.
He's on what?
Anthony.
I hear him laughing. He's there. There he is.
Here he is.
Here I is. Who's that? Who's that? Buckwheat or Stymie?
Buckwheat. I think that's fun. Oh, no, that might be Stymie.
No,
he's
not.
I don't know where I'm going, but I'm on.
We should have a bet tonight. How many times Anthony blacks out?
Nah, he ain't gonna black out. He got everything.
All right. I'll be the house.
No, he just froze then. He just froze.
No, I didn't freeze. I didn't see myself freeze.
No, it's not cold in North Carolina.
Yeah, it's not cold.
Right. Anthony, did you know that Joe and Eddie bet the trifecta in the Derby? Yeah, and they hit it. Yeah, they hit it.
Wow. Good.
I make one bet a year, and it's only on the Kentucky Derby, and that's it.
Wow. Good for you guys.
It wasn't like the old days when you're betting thousands and thousands.
Yeah, but hey, you're not losing thousands and
Bet
thousands.
$48 for the day.
When you bet and you win, you had $2 on it. When you lose, you had 2,000 on it. That's the way.
You know, I never
exactly
bet.
Right.
I never bet. Never bet. Never
You
bet
never
my own
bet?
horses. Never. The only time I bet maybe was like $10 with a couple of guys, you know, to throw $2
That's
each.
how this all started with me, because I stopped gambling
was
in
it.
the late
Never
80s.
bet. Didn't bet my own horses. Nothing. Just
Larry, I
reality.
found a Monticello program in 1981, the Monticello Classic.
Oh yeah, I have one of them. I don't know which one it is.
You had a horse called J.R. Skipper?
I had a horse called
Larry?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it was owned by Big Willie Farms.
Well,
J.R.
Larry.
Yeah.
I don't
know. I got my program somewhere here.
I got a call yesterday from who the hell was it from? I forgot. And he was telling me horses and places I raced that I really don't remember. That's why when I wrote that book, I contacted hundreds of people that were my friends or that worked for me or whatever. And I says, tell me some stories, some stuff I've been through. And, you know, and then they sent it in and I tried to put it all together. But there's a lot of stuff. There's some stuff I remember like it happened yesterday, but some stuff I don't remember at all. I don't have a clue. But, you know, before I forget, you know who called me up yesterday? Frank Unati's daughter.
Yeah, she called me for your number.
Yeah, but who told her I was an attorney? She's talking to me. And she says, "Hello, Mr. Rolla." She says, "My father is Frank Unati." And she's going through. I says, "Hold on, wait a second." I says, "First of all, I'm really sorry for your loss. He was a good friend of mine, but I'm not an attorney." I says, and my name is Larry Rolla, and I spoke of your father on the podcast. She says, "Oh," and then and then she realized who I was because she listens to the podcast. She watches the podcast, and then she says that I said, "Why do you need an attorney?" And she says, "Because the hospital killed my father. My father had sepsis, but it was under control with antibiotics, and he had cancer. He's going for chemo." And she says that when he went in for his last checkup, they said, "Oh, he don't have sepsis anymore," and they took him off the heavy-duty antibiotics that he was on, and he drove himself home that day, and then a few days later he died. So the hospital stop the antibiotics that was keeping him or that was curing the sepsis, that infection. So she's suing. She's getting a lawyer and she's going to sue him. What a shame.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's definitely negligence there, boy. Wow.
Well, I hope.
You don't know how many mistakes they made that people died that we don't even know about.
Oh God!
She said she was shocked. She got the death certificate, and from the car, and it says that he died of sepsis. That's what it says. He didn't die of cancer. He died of sepsis.
Wow.
And the hospital said that. Geez, what a shame. What a shame.
Yeah, that sucks.
Anyway, I got to ask you a couple of questions, Eddie.
Yeah.
And you, because you, out of all of us here, you're the only one that's in the business, and you have contact with a lot of them thoroughbred people.
Right.
Why wouldn't Billy Mott race in the Preakness? I don't get it. Why? Because it's 2 weeks away. I don't get it. And everybody on Facebook is praising him, always looking after the horse and this and that and everything else. Well, first of all, what about the ones that were in that race, the trainers and owners that were in that race, and they're racing in the Preakness? What does that mean? That they don't care about their horses? I just don't understand I don't understand that whole business, and I don't understand why a 3-year-old in real good shape can't race his heart out like he did and come back in 2 weeks. And I just don't understand that. I don't get it. Not only that, but you give the owners a shot for the Triple Crown. You give the horse a shot for the Triple Crown. And you know, and not only that, but from what I understand is that the Belmont, which is I think the Belmont goes it's a mile and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're going to race at Saratoga because Belmont's closed, and it's only going to be like a mile and a quarter. So it's going to be the perfect distance for him, and I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Why would you your whole life in this business, the dream of being in these races, and have the opportunity now and not go? I didn't know he was in racing.
Well, I just found out today myself that he's going to pass the Preakness.
He must have came out sore or something had to happen.
Something had to happen, yeah.
Billy Mott, he won the Derby that time with on that DQ, right? On a disqualified.
Yeah.
Didn't he race? He raced his horse in the Preakness and the Belmont, the one that he was put up. Right. I don't think there's something had to be something that nobody knows that had to happen, because Billy Mott is, you know, he's a hell of a horseman, a hell of a trainer, and it's not. I don't think it's the prestige that he goes by.
Well, you're right, because when they interviewed the owner says, "Yeah, we'd love to race him there and there, but naturally it's going to be up to Billy Mott. We'll make that decision, but with that, you know, it would be great. It would be great if he could race there." And then when they asked Billy Mott says, "Well, just take it easy. Let me see how he comes out of it and everything." You know, he just was very, very. He gave an answer like it was 50-50 if he was,
So
or
he
he
must
knew
have
that he wasn't gonna.
Something must have happened. He must have come out maybe not 100%, which they really don't.
You know, what gets me he says, well, it's 2 weeks is too soon. Well, it wasn't too soon last time you entered a horse from Derby it wasn't too soon then, and so too soon is a bullshit excuse.
That's ridiculous. He has to race horses 2-3 heats.
Yeah, that he has the horse probably has a problem, and whatever the problem is, he just needs more time. So why don't they just say that? But I guess they can't say that because
first of all, you know who's going to move in once the horse comes up sore or something. Petter's going to come in and see what I told you about that racing and the injuries, and they were already started advertising on Facebook the day of the Derby, cruelty and all the other bull that they do to manipulate this game between Heister and Peter. It's disgusting.
You know, another thing that's not fair, and I know they can't do nothing about it because it's a point system, the whole bit. It's all, and it's been that way for 200 years. But half of that field shouldn't have been in the race. Why put them horses that don't belong in and screw up the race for horses that legitimately have a chance? Wouldn't it be nice if the first 10 horses, the horses that, or even the first 8, wouldn't it be some really good, exciting race where all horses finish right across the wire rather than spread out a quarter of a mile, and for horses that shouldn't even be there, that all they did was block and get in the way of horses that really had a legitimate shot?
You have 100% right.
Everybody deserves a shot, though. Really, you know, when you come down to it, you never know. You know,
it's ironic because now I agree with you, Larry. I would say that you have the Santa Anita Derby, you have the Wood Memorial, you have the Bluegrass, you have the Arkansas Derby, you have all these big races that lead up to the Derby, right? The Kentucky Derby. Now, they go by the point system, understandable. They should take the top 3 finishes in every one of those races. And that's where you could have a hell of a horse race, because the compatibility is going to be through the roof, because they're all capable of being top class horses. And and they have how many races before the Derby? They have so many prep races. And I think that would be better than just to put a couple of horses that I don't know that. I mean, people who put up that money to race or supplement they must really think highly of their horse. But it's all money.
I don't get it.
No,
I watched
something wrong with the horse. I think maybe something happened to the horse, and that's why basically he's putting out a little bit of a feeler saying that, I might skip the Preakness and get him ready for the Belmont. And, I mean, don't forget that was a tough haul on that track. It was a tough race for all of those horses.
Track.
Yeah, but when horses finish, when they're spread out a good eighth of a mile, maybe even more, and you can see right from the beginning that at least 5-6 of them horses didn't even belong in a race, and all they did was screw up. It's not fair.
A lot of the good horses got in trouble, boy. A lot of the horses did get in trouble. Especially that horse Baeza. Baeza got in trouble real bad. That also will win the Belmont.
If that race was another 16th of a mile, he would have won by
he got crucified. Yeah.
That's the horse I needed for fourth for the Superfecta.
Baeza? He ran third.
No, I'm sorry. No, the 17. No, I'm sorry. The 17.
Yeah.
Oh.
I needed
Baeza. Right? I mean, he'll win the Belmont.
The great horse, yeah.
Oh, Sandman?
Yeah, Sandman, that was it, yeah.
But that definitely Baeza, he's definitely gonna win the Belmont. I think he's gonna come into that race really ideal. I don't know. He's gonna go into Preakness, I guess, But that's it's a tough call when you do train and own a class act like those horses, and you have to make the right decision for the right people, not for the public.
Right.
So.
I mean, definitely a lane decision. Definitely a lane decision.
5-6 finishes finished 15-20 lengths back.
Yeah.
And all they did was get in the way of a couple of real decent horses.
They played pinball.
And lucky enough, the winner clipped heels early, just for a step, not bad.
Yeah.
But they should have it where, just like you said, maybe not 20, 25 horses. I can see 25 horses that you can't separate, but not when they finish. The length of the stretch is lined up with horses. 20, 25 lengths back. It's not fair.
Yeah. Take for instance the Hamiltonian. Okay. How many heats did they have before they race for the final? Right.
Well, the thoroughbreds could never do that. You know that.
I'm just saying, no, not the heat. I'm just talking how to get to the final. It's just like them racing in the Arkansas Derby, the Bluegrass, and all that. They're racing, trotting at that for the Hamiltonian. So you're taking the top 3 finishes, right, in every heat to go to the final. So basically, that's what they should do with the thoroughbreds in the Arkansas Derby. The first 3 finishes in the Bluegrass, first 3. The Wood Memorial.
You see, I think what might screw that up is the fact that some of them horses you would have to have more and more races, and to have 1 or 2 prep races prior to whatever, you would need a couple of months. Some of them horses didn't even race 2 months back, or 3 months back. So it just becomes a mess because they have that bullshit that they got to race every 30 days. They need more time in between races.
I don't know about those rules, as you can see by my start.
And then they say, well, the horse needs more time. And what they just don't want to hear is that a well-conditioned horse needs less time.
Yes.
And it just, and I had this argument all the time with them. And when I was with Seawall, that was the biggest problem that we had, me and him. And yet every horse I had with him, and we had a major problem with that one horse called Good Scout. The one I bought, well, Alan bought him for me from Perkins. And Perkins. And he had really, really bad feet. And Alan says, now Alan was telling, Alan was telling me what to do. But anyway, them are the only arguments we had when I said, look, you take care of your horses, I'll take care of mine. And I treated him just like a standardbred, you know, and when we shipped from Monmouth Park to Hialeah, and I told Alan, I bought him like 2 months before that from Jerkins for $5,000, and I was training with Alan's horses, and the last work mile we did was with Alan's 40,000 claimers, and I beat him. So I told Alan, I says, when you get to Hialeah, just work him here, get a work in him, and just when we get to Hialeah, we can put him right in. And I says, put him in anything, because his last bunch of races were 5,000 claimers finishing up the racetrack. I says, put him in a 10, 20, 30, I don't care. Put him in anything between 0 and 30,000 claimers. And he did. I think he put him in the 30,000 claimer, and he won. Rivera was up, and he won by open lengths. And Alan still was not convinced that you can be a little bit more aggressive. It used to drive me crazy. I come in one day, and he's having foam rubber, a foot thick of foam rubber on the top of the doorway, you know, the stall door, all the way on top. Because in that stall was a 3-year-old that was about 17 hands high, a 3-year-old colt, and nobody would ride him, so they used to shed row him, and because he was tough on the racetrack. So I told Alan, I says, Alan, just what are you doing? He says, well, he stays at the front of the stall, and he keeps rearing up and hitting his head up on the. I says, you shed rowing him. Just go out there. The pony girl won't take him. He's too rough. Just go out there late when just before they close the track, and just let the guy just go. Just 4 miles, 5 miles. He'll eventually slow down. Get more work into him. More work. He would never do it. The horse wound up cracking his skull on the top of the thing, and this kind of stuff with the thoroughbreds got me crazy. That's why that time I turned the table over at Aqueduct. I was sitting with Joe Aquilino, and they asked me a question. Anyway, I won't get into that.
Yeah, I had a horse basically like that called Dates Freedom, and I had to wait till the last set gets off the track, and because he was a lunatic. But I would take him out there, walk him up to the track, and then turn him loose the right way. You go the right way to the track, and open gallop that son of a bitch until he really got tired and said, hey, this is enough. And I did it for a while, and then he started to settle down, and then he learned more and more not to be that stupid and aggressive, and because he got in shape, and I didn't have to breeze him because he galloped 3 miles, 4 miles, and I win a couple of races with him, you know.
The horses that need the most, they seem to get the least, and the horses that need you get a little 3-year-old filly that's 700 pounds, and oh yeah, she's good out there. Yeah, jog at 2 miles, gallop at 3 miles. They give all the work, the work that filly gets. The stud horses should get. And take it easy with they do everything, and this is my opinion.
You know, it was a terrible rule. Getting back to the harness racing, when I had that trotter that was really good, and he was eligible to the he won the Arthur Cutler Memorial. It was $190,000 race to the Meadowlands, and he went off like 30-1. He had no shot in there, but it worked out for him. He ended up winning the race. So the next week he's in either, I forgot if it was the Nat Ray or the Titan Cup. He ended up finishing second, to the best trotters in the country. And so the owner supplements him into the Breeders' Crown. He put up $50,000, and we drew the 9-hole. So the first heat, the first 5 from each elimination would go into the final. Now, what they did that was terrible was the horses that finished first in the first division, they would draw for 1 and 2 posts. The horses that finished second would draw for 3 and 4. The horses that finished fifth would draw for 9 and 10. So you never had a shot from the beginning. It's supposed to be an open draw, but you were forced. If you finished fifth, the best you could get is the 9 or the 10.
Yeah, so the better you were, the closer you were to the rail. That's
In other words,
ridiculous.
if you finished first, those 2 horses.
Yeah.
It was terrible. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know they did it like that. I was so aggravated.
That's
And,
stupid.
That's the bummer rule, boy.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, you get unlucky
like
the
an
first time. At
automatic-
least you say,
Yeah, you get
next
unlucky
time-
the first time. You're taking it right through everything.
That
right.
was an automatic handicap. They
We're
had
praying to get fifth to get a new draw in a fresh race, and the best we could get is post 9 or 10 again.
I thought
You
the best
know
horse-
another thing that gets me crazy, and it gets me crazy because sometimes I battle with myself in my own mind, and I say to myself that how could you make that statement? It's completely contradictory to everything else that you said, and this and that, and by that I mean, let me see if I can give you a good example. I'm always complaining that. I'm always saying that no Lasix because of the obvious reasons that I gave a million times. I won't go into that. And yet, and that after a race, especially in the summertime, between giving a horse Lasix and him sweating, a horse can lose close to 9-10% of his body weight after a race, and losing 10% is detrimental to the horse's health. And he can drop from heat exhaustion, but 10-11% of losing all that fluid, which is body weight, he can go into some kind of all the organs start to fail at that point, and the temperatures reach 104 degrees. So I make that statement, and that's a true statement. And then if somebody asks me if that's the case, and after a horse races like that, whether it be a standardbred or a thoroughbred, if that's the case, why do horses that go in 2 heats or 3 heats, why is the second heat always faster than the first if they're completely drained out after the first race? And sometimes years back they had 3 heats the same day, an hour apart, and the third heat always went faster than the first 2. So how could that be? So a lot of what I say is true, but how do you explain what I just said? Because what I said is true, but how do you explain the double, like at Delaware, Ohio? It had been 100 degrees that day. I was there, and whoever went the first heat, they went the second heat faster, the third heat faster. If there was a final, how do you explain these things? And so there's a lot of contradictory that I speak, but what I speak is true. If you just take one statement, that's true.
Yeah.
But if that's true, how could it be that the same horse that's about ready to 1 degree of body temperature from heat exhaustion, he races an hour later and he goes faster with no more Lasix, no more nothing, no more jugs, no more nothing. And the horse's stomach, so naturally after the first heat, you give him a lot of water, but the horse's stomach can only hold 4 or 5 gallons of water. And he loses double that. So it's not that he's rehydrated, So it could drive you crazy.
And you can't give them a lot of water, but still found her.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, it's a catch-22 all around.
Yeah.
But yet it is what it is, and that's why I live through these things, and that's why when I'm with the thoroughbreds and I hear, oh no, they can't handle that, they need 2-3 days off after they race, and then they just gotta take it easy with them and don't work them for 2 weeks, and then just breeze them a half mile or 3/8, and then they're going to race a mile and a half in another 2 weeks after that. That to me, that's crazy. It's just crazy. And I'm not just saying it's crazy. I did it the way I'm saying, and fine. And I have to tell you that I win a lot of them races and doing just what I said. Now, naturally, if a horse has a problem, certain conditions, whatever they might be, you take care of them and you adjust the training schedule accordingly. But there's nobody.
Tell that to Mott.
Well, I tell you,
I tell a guy that's in the Hall of Fame, one of the most respected trainers in the world, trains probably 100 or 200 horses, and gets the biggest compliment from Mike McCarthy, who was a leading rider in Delaware Park, because I think he rides for him in the morning. He's not a jockey no more, but he rides for him in the mornings, and he says that he's a very, very sharp guy. But so how do you argue with that success? How do you say Larry Rolla is bucking heads with Billy Mott? Well, the first thing anybody would say, who the fuck's Larry Rolla? And that's what they would say. So, in the meantime, it's hard for me to believe that if any one of us on the screen right now took over Billy Mott's stable, number one, sovereignty would be in the Preakness.
Well, you don't know that. You don't know that.
I know.
If that horse come out sound, he'd be in the Preakness.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on with him.
If he,
what if he is a little sore? What if he just didn't come out of that race as good as we thought he did? You don't know.
Well, I guess
it has to be serious, but that's an opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah, it has to be something.
Get a shot at the Triple Crown.
Triple Crown, really, to pass that up, something,
I mean, let me ask you a question. When do they got to enter this horse? A week before for the Triple Crown? I mean, for the Preakness?
It used to be 72 hours out, but now they got it a week. It's
so why would you make this announcement early? Why wouldn't you wait and see how the horse is?
Well, he made that announcement to keep everybody, I guess, at bay, so the public could see and look and talk like we're doing, and ask questions why, when, and how.
But
it's all media shit. Everything is media.
Now he cannot race in the Preakness?
No, he did not say he's out.
Oh,
he said he might pass the Preakness and get him ready for the belt.
Oh, he might. Okay, I thought you said he's not racing.
He didn't say I'm out of the Preakness.
Okay.
So even Larry said
he might be racing.
No, I thought I read that he's out. I could be wrong, but that's what I read. I don't know where I read it, but I read that there was a question: why isn't he racing in the Preakness? So I don't know. You look it up, Eddie. You're good.
I don't even know the horse's name.
Oh boy.
What is this? Symbolical?
SOVER.
Sovereignty.
Sovereignty. Avangul.
Is he out?
Is sovereignty out of the Preakness?
Aneurysm. That's the name of the horse.
Oh yeah, guys. Whoever's watching, hit. What do they got to hit?
Where's all our girls?
Oh, I got to put them up.
You're right, Lawrence. Kentucky Derby winner Sovereignty will not run in the Preakness Stakes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, why make that announcement now?
Officials announced Tuesday, meaning there won't be a Triple Crown champion for the 7th consecutive year. Okay.
All right. Remember what we said we were talking about, Eddie? I don't know if we're talking about it on camera or off camera about the last. We were talking about. I had mentioned that a lot of things don't make sense to me in breaking these thoroughbreds because the last bones that heal are the high end bones in the back. And remember,
Oh, you got that last week.
Yes.
would
Yes.
that be a reason why most of the weight is up front and shins buck? You know, they get buck shins. Well, I found this, and this tells you the progression of the skeleton development, and you can see that. I don't know if you could see it or not, Eddie, but you could see that the high end don't even start to get fully. This is fully developed until they're maybe 4 years old.
Yeah.
And
Right.
And could that be the reason why a lot of stuff happens up front, from wall separations to quarter cracks to buck shins, a lot of different stuff. So yeah, I went looking for that to see if I could justify what my big mouth said, but
No, you're right. Yeah, absolutely right.
yeah. Okay, let me go to the. Let me
read. Could I read something there, Lawrence?
You could read anything you want.
I just want to read what this about Heisa. You want to throw up? You'll puke.
Go ahead, read it.
Wait, Ashbet. All right. Costin Jen continued. Heisa issued assessments totaling $66,490,000 in 2024. This grew to $77,522,525. Heisa raised its total assessments to $80,376,000, an approximately 21% increase from 2023, even though the total number of racing starts decreased over 25%. The evolution of this cost per start, this severe upward trajectory between 23 and 25, Heisa has gone from charging approximately $285 per start to approximately $462 per start. This is more than a 62% increase in the cost per start in the span of 2 years. Imagine these bananas that don't know nothing about a horse. Nothing. I can't believe what they're going to do, because all the small trainers are, there's no unity in any type of horse business for some reason. I mean, there's none at all. Nobody has the balls to stand up or
Philippe Bailey was right at Gamois. That's exactly what he said.
No unity, no nothing. They ain't got the. I've reached out many times, and people know that I have at the track, And like I said, they came down there, they looked at the track, and I explained to them that 73% of your tragedies and euthanizations are on the 23% is hidden of the vets that are on the training track. They send them over to the Cornell and they euthanize them there because you cannot sue the hospital, the university. You can sue the racetrack, yes. It's such a horrible freaking thing. I don't know. I wish the fuck they get rid of it.
I just sent away for a book last night. I'm trying to find it, because as long as we keep doing it, you guys keep making me go on with this podcast, so I might as well start to get involved a little bit.
Oh, that's nice of you.
So last night, I don't know where I saw it. Maybe I forgot where I saw it, but there was a book out there. There was a book out there that I'm looking for it right now. It's called Death of a Racehorse.
I sent it to you.
You sent it to me?
Yes.
Oh, that's how I got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I bought it. I'm waiting for it to come back because in this book, I think they talk about two trainers.
Yep. Chad Brown.
Chad Brown and Baffert. And some of the things that I heard were really, really frightening.
Oh, yes.
And
that's why I sent it to you. That's the one that probably had a lot of pages and you went nuts.
Yeah, but I saw it someplace else because I'm not just going to buy a book.
No.
They when they start talking about it, I said, "Oh my God!" And anyway, I can't wait to get the book. But anyway,
they were surmising that he was using some stuff called quinolin. It was in a tablet form. Yeah, there, Death of a Racehorse. Yeah.
Yeah, they were using something. They were using. See, when you give a horse epigen, the body produces more red blood cells, but the body don't create enough iron to support that. So you got to give them, like we used to give them, not me, but the standardbreds gave them pig iron.
Yeah, pig iron in a rump. Yeah.
And this other stuff, and pig iron can kill a horse. So
drop him in a heartbeat.
Immediately.
So I think they have something else that could create enough iron in the horse's system without it showing up, without it hurting. Something like that. I don't know, but I know that somewhere pertaining to this book that they were naming they were telling the amount of horses that were dying, just trying to figure out the right dosage, of everything to give. It was real scary stuff. Anyway, let's go down this list because I keep getting yelled at for not answering questions and saying hello.
You know what they're using in parks?
What?
It's called EPOETIN. That's the genetic epigen.
Yeah, I know that. That's why I left. And I made that statement because the guy keeps asking me, you could never finish better than second with the horse, and then you lost the horse. And I told him right from the beginning, the horse's blood count was 7 million. That's 1 million above death. It's anemic, and I could never get him up there. And normally horses that have that blood count that never goes above 7 million when the average is right around 10 or 11. It's because they were on epigen, and that's you just destroyed a whole horse, and that's when I left. I told the owner, Peter, I says, Peter, I says, this is it. I know, and
that's it. The blood gets like pasta vazul.
As it is. So now the horse got claimed, and the new trainer, all of a sudden he went in hand. He went for fun. He raised him up to 10. And he finished second, but he raced really well.
Yeah, he raced really well. You know what I don't like?
What I would love just to show Peter, who was a good guy, just to show Peter that I was right, because I don't want to press the issue. The horse was under his name as trainer. I'm certainly not going to do anything to the horse anyway. Yeah. And even if I did do that kind of stuff, I wouldn't do it unless the horse was under my name. So but I just had to let him know, and let him know that it's my fault. Now, you want me to give you the 5,000, whatever, but this is the situation. But what I would love to have done was take that horse's blood count after the race. Just take his blood and see what the count is. That's all. No other tests. I don't care what even though I probably wouldn't find it anyway. And I guarantee his blood count was a lot higher than 7 million. And when I gave the horse to the other trainer, I told him, I says, I could never get his blood higher than 7 million. I says, so check it and do whatever you think you need to do to get the blood higher, because if you don't get it higher, he's going to crash. Because I did everything every day. Keiko copper, 30 cc's, Keiko copper, iron, B12, every day. And no matter what I did, and no matter what high-powered vitamins I gave him, 6, 9, 7 million, that was it. He was just pissing it out with no effect. Anyway, let's go down this list so I don't get yelled at from these guys. At least say hello to them. Here's your brother, Dominic, Anthony.
Hey, what's up, Dom? I like the whole fight.
Okay.
Angelique.
Angelique. Hello, Larry, Joe, and Eddie. Anthony's here too. He came in late.
Yeah, I came in late. She says hello later.
And I'm saying hello to your brother. Okay, and your brother is saying hi. Okay, so now they have hello, Anthony. Okay, there you go, Anthony.
I am.
I hate to do this, but if I don't do it, I get yelled at. I'm okay, Dominic. How are you doing? Okay. That's good. Okay, here's a question, Eric, or a statement. To clarify my comment last week, reason I saw Groom and Hot Walker on bench because there is no other flat track open where Woodbine Parks has Penn, Aqueduct. Okay, Eric was the one that said that he saw Grooms and Hot Walkers sleeping on the bench at Woodbine because there was no. And I asked somebody that. Who did I ask? I asked somebody, and they said, "I think that you were right. That he didn't think they were any groom's quarters." That's
probably when they close for the meet, the groom's quarters closes too.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
that's sad. Okay, Steve. Like they say, every day above ground is a good day. Yeah,
you got it, Steve. Thank you.
Angelique, yes, Steve, that's so right. Dominic, so true. I don't know. Robbie, Country House never raced again after the Derby. He didn't run the horse in the other 2 legs. The horse never raced again.
Oh,
all right.
Really Mott's horse. Yeah, that's the horse that Mott got put up on DQ. So he didn't race in the Triple Crown. No. Okay.
Well, I guess. Hey, look. Look. There's so many variables. Number one. Number two. Every horse out there is considered, in my opinion, racehorse sound. So it's very, very, very possible that that this horse. Didn't come out of the race 100%, and Mott is doing the right thing based on his way of thinking, based on the condition of the horse, based on his conditioning and training procedure, and put everything together, and he's the one that is in the Hall of Fame, not me.
He probably wants the best shot at the Belmont.
We're in the Hall of Shame, Larry. What's the difference?
I got a call. When the hell was it? Oh, I got a call. Yes, today from a guy. I can't remember his name. I'm so bad with this. But anyway, he was telling the stories about me, and there were some really good ones. And he is now the presiding judge for the 3 days of racing up at Goshen, and he wanted Donnie Dancer's phone number, and I gave it to him because he wants Donnie Dancer, who based on our conversation here on the podcast with Donnie, he still has his the license to judge, and this guy who's the presiding judge up there would like Donnie to be associate for them 3 days. So it would be a good gig because he's going to get paid. Plus, he got a chance to see all his old friends because I think the 3rd day is all the stake races there. So it'll be nice. I don't know if he can do it or not. Okay, it's a disgrace for racing when the Derby winner doesn't move on to the Preakness if he's not injured. Yeah, we all agree with you. And I better not say too much because okay, Sundance. Hi, Larry, Eddie, Anthony, and Joe.
Hey,
Hello, Sundance.
hello, Sundance.
That's Sundance. Sundance. Saturday afternoon, I have to go to a movie premiere. And Joanne, the new bingo is opening in Jersey City. And Joanne it's been closed for years. And her mother used to go there all the time. And all her mother passed away, and all her mother's friends go there. So she really wants to go. I can't be home, and my dog can't stay alone. So why don't you call up Joanne and ask Joanne if she really wants to go to bingo that night, that you would come over in the afternoon and stay until we get back. And then if that's the case, I'll drive you home. Okay.
Bingo.
Bingo.
B-I-N-G-O.
B-I-N-G-O.
Bingo. What's his name?
Bob, there was a maiden in the race. How ridiculous is that? Well, that's because there was a maiden in the race. Now I don't know where that horse finished, but all I know is that 20 horses, 19 horses, it's all right if they're all pretty well evenly matched, but when they're strung,
they get 3% of the 5 million, finishing 6 to 20. So you got 15 horses splitting 150,000.
That's 10,000 each.
That's what they got.
a bunch of,
Bingo.
it's so unfair to the
I 42.
Where did the maiden finish, Eddie?
I don't know.
Francis is on.
Francioli.
Hi, Champ, Joe, Anthony, Eddie, and Chad. So Champ must be me, right?
Yeah, I
you're
guess.
the champ. You're the champ.
You're the champ.
I got another nickname. You know that when I was a kid, my nickname, when I was a kid, I was probably 12, 13, 14. My nickname was the Grin. They call me Grin, the Grin. Always smiling.
Always smiling.
Always smiling. No matter
Even
what.
Even when you lost in a photo, you smiled.
Always smiling. Okay, let's see. Eddie, what is the current compensation plan for jockeys at Naira and Finger Lakes? Do you know, Ed?
The compensation plan?
Yeah, he says, what is the current compensation plan for jockeys at Naira and Finger Lakes?
It's the workman's comp or the jockey's fund. They're all insured. The owners and the trainers have to pay, I think it's $1,500 a year. Every trainer, every owner has to pay $1,500. I mean, I got to pay $1,500 a year, and I got 8 horses, and Pletcher got 400, and he pays $1,500. So, and Finger Lakes is probably a lot cheaper. I don't really know how much it is up there, but everybody's covered. We pay for everything. The owners.
Eddie, great idea that's a horseman who thinks top 3 in the big races for the Derby. Yeah, it's a great idea, but how do you get it done? You'd have to run heats, and they can't run heats.
No, they don't run heats. It's just that when they race the Arkansas Derby, the 3 winners goes to the Derby, and then they got the Bluegrass. That's weeks before the Kentucky Derby, like the Wood Memorials, like 2 or 3 weeks before the Kentucky Derby. And that established, instead of giving them the points, the top 3 or 4 finishes or automatically go into the Derby.
Well,
They don't run heats. They're not going to run heats.
okay, Gary, Anthony DiChiaro, I saw you win a race on YouTube. Do you still? He didn't finish it. Do you still?
Still racing, maybe.
drive.
I got out in 87, late 87. Yeah. I don't.
Okay, Larry Cox. Hello. I watched Derby race on my 75-inch TV screen and photo was blown up. Journalist nose was not bleeding. Surveyor's nose was bleeding. Wow. Huh.
Oh, maybe he bled, huh?
Be blood, yeah.
Wow.
Answer that.
Got to check into that.
Well, that's easy to check into because because I watched the replay, and after the replay they give you a head-on shot of the horses coming at you. But I never noticed it. I never looked for it. But
But there's a lot of mud on his face.
yeah. Now I don't know if he was bleeding a lot, the blood would he didn't get no blood in the last 16th of a mile. He didn't get no mud in his face. So if he was bleeding, you should be able to see blood. And according to Larry Cox, he saw blood. And, well, maybe that's the reason.
Yeah.
So Larry, keep your mouth shut. Listen to what Billy Mott has to say.
Well, that's a good eye if you saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then there's another thing.
Photo finish.
All right. You have a top horse. He's going to be in the Kentucky Derby. How could you not? And I said this probably 20 times in the last 100 podcasts I did. How could you not solve the problem? How could you not take care of the problem? How could you not put this horse on heavy duty antibiotics, give him oxygen mixed with some kind of medication in a nebulizer for 15-20 minutes a day, just light exercise and let them blood vessels in the lower part of each lung give him a chance to heal up? I just don't get it, because he had to know. Another interesting thing, and I don't know. I wonder if they have it on the program. Is he on Lasix? Ed?
Well, I don't know if but you're not. They didn't use it in you can't use it in stake races. So
Use Lasix in stake races?
Not too many 3-year-olds should be on Lasix, right?
Yeah, really.
they're on Lasix, yeah, but not
Really?
in stake races. Yeah.
Wow.
Hi, Kelly. I don't know if you're Kelly Jones or not, but if you are Kelly Jones, I hope things are okay. If you're not, hi, Kelly.
Right.
We got to find that out. We got to do a little investigating tomorrow, Ed, when you go to the track.
Yes, sir.
See if that horse is on Lasix, and maybe you could. And if it is, I got to watch now what
The photo.
Larry Cox said, that the horse was bleeding. Wow. He said journalism was not bleeding. No. Yeah, he said he was bleeding from the nose. Yep. Wow. Okay. Sundance, Kelly.
Eric, you four have vast more knowledge of horses than the two supposed handicappers experts on Thursday. I learned so much from you guys. So those three stooges you had.
That wasn't nice, Eddie. They were nice guys.
I didn't say they were bad guys. They were
You didn't
terrible
say-
handicappers.
They do that for a living. And you know what I told them?
Yeah.
I kind of gave them an out.
After they got change of a quarter.
I said, if will your selection stay the same if it rains?
It was mud.
That was it. All they had to do was say no. I'd have to recalculate everything instead of, But
They did say that. I think they did a good job.
But how do you well, I
You
can't.
can't handicap. It's tough to handicap a 20 horse field.
Yeah.
Don't bet when it's wet.
That's it.
Okay. Let's see. All we have now is
Hello, 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 hello.
oh, they're talking about this should be a dating site here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. And name it Who's Left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your brother is
Yeah, he's the king.
yeah. Here's your brother. Your brother made a comment. Those are pictures of Neville Noble and fire and smoke and
Oh, somebody asked what the pictures were in the back.
oh.
I like that picture you had of Larry on the Wildwood Jeb there, Anthony.
Yeah.
Who sent that picture?
I send it to you. I texted
How'd
to
you
you.
get it? Who took that picture? That was in Delaware, Ohio.
Yeah, I don't know who took it, but Mike Druss found it.
Oh.
Yeah, that was Mike.
Do you know two things? They called me about YouTube or Facebook or somebody. I think Facebook and YouTube. They called me because pertaining to that picture, Eddie Palmieri wrote a comment when they put that picture up, saying Larry should have drove Wildwood Jeb.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah, yeah.
So all I did was put a thumbs up, and they took it down because they says that that they didn't want no symbols or nothing. You know, if I would have said thanks or something, but I put a thumbs up. And the other thing, they says you made X amount of dollars on your last podcast, but we took it away because all them songs were copyrighted at Frankie Loke's funeral. All them songs that were played, each
Really?
of them were copyrighted, and they wanted a piece of the action. So I just give it.
Yeah, see, you're not allowed to use music that's copyrighted.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But I do that a lot because I play that song I play with Liza Minnelli. That's copyrighted, so they take the money away. Well, the amount of, I mean, it's bullshit anyway, so I don't care. But yeah, that they played 5 or 6 songs in that, you know, in his funeral procession. Yeah, they deducted for each song.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, let's see. Sundance, I posted the above comment for you to cause you ask me if I live in Canada. Okay, so they're having these conversations. I can't get involved in these conversations.
No.
Okay, let's see this one. David, 1997 to 2018, all Derby winners went to the Preakness. Now 4 of the last Derby winners skipped the Preakness. It's a disgrace to racing how people supposed to get interested. Well,
They just said 7 out of the last Triple Crown races that they a lot of horses didn't go forward. You know, so.
Larry, I'm sorry about sending you the Frankie Loke thing. You can deduct it from my paycheck.
Yeah, you can take a little out of mine.
I sent you that.
It comes to about 60 cents.
All right, I'll try to
Give it to them in quarters now, not pennies.
I'm going to be doing
deduct it.
Do you guys need my address to send a check to for tonight? For me not freezing or?
No, you didn't freeze it. You didn't, and not only that, but you look good. The lighting is perfect. The picture is perfect.
The night ain't over. The night ain't over.
It looks like you're in a real good studio. Very, very good.
Yeah.
You look good. What a difference. We just, let's see. Okay, anybody want to comment on this? From 1997 to 2018, all Derby winners went to the Preakness. Now 4 out of the last Derby. Wow. What did I say?
Things happen.
Yeah.
Eddie, I had no idea. That's terrible. Sundance. Okay, let's see. Serenity is the 4th Derby winner in the past 7 Triple Crown seasons to skip the Preakness. After all 22 Derby winners from 1997 to 2018 entered the race. Wow, David, he's really into this stuff. I should pay more attention, but who thought that this podcast was going to keep going like this? I should know all of this stuff, but I don't. So let's see. Serenity is the 4th Derby winner in the past 7 Triple Crown seasons to skip the Preakness. After all 22 Derby winners from 97 to 2018 entered the race.
I just read that on my phone.
I wonder why that is. I wonder
always
why.
the shortest field, always.
I don't know. What is this? Mr. Rolla, you were talking about the class in Thoroughbred being best to look at. First of all, what is it? Chad Sinclair, $10. Chad, I don't know what that is. I don't.
He's sending you a donation.
Yeah, but I don't want no donation. I don't.
What do you mean you don't want it? Give me Eddie and $3.33 each.
Well, yeah, we'll take $3.32.
I'm not hooked up to get donations. I don't want nobody's money. I just do this to have some fun. Chad, thank you very much, but I mean, even if I wanted it, I wouldn't even know how to. I don't know. I'm not set up for it. I don't know how to do that. Tom set everything up for me in the beginning, and when he set everything up, I told him, don't. I'm not asking for no money. I'm not asking for none of this stuff. It cost me probably all told $1,000 a year or every 6 months. I don't even know. But
well, it was a nice gesture.
Yeah, it was very nice, Chad. But I don't. Thank you very much. But there's no way to send it. I don't think. But thank you anyway. And for the rest of you out there that are listening, I thank you. But no thanks.
Send it to Cabert's granddaughter.
All right, let's answer this question then. Mr. Rolla, you were talking about the class in Thoroughbred being best to look at, and most of the optic class rating scored at the Kentucky Derby. Guys, help me with this. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't either. So
you were talking about the class in Thoroughbred being best to look at. And the most of the optic class rating scored at the Kentucky Derby. And
I have no idea.
I don't know. All I know is that I'm a big believer. I don't care about anything except I want to know who you raced against. I want to know the horses that you raced against. I don't want to know what your buyer figure is. I don't want to know I don't want to know nothing. Just tell me who you raced against and who the horses that you raced against. Anyway, Chad, thanks a lot. Thanks for tuning in. And okay, let's see. What's Sundance say? Yesterday was Billy O'Donnell's birthday. Happy, yeah. I wished him a happy. Oh yeah, I wish him. And Billy said to me, he sent me a message saying that I asked him how he was healing because he broke his foot, and he said everything was good. And then he said he says he's still working on getting Ronnie Pierce on the show with him, and I sent back a message that's an impossible mission, impossible. It is. He'll never get him. He thinks he can get him, but he'll never. Ronnie will no. Okay, let's see. Larry Cox, Bobby Bagger's horse Rodriguez will be ready for Preakness. Serenity will not chance getting hurt. Will wait to Belmont to challenge him. Well, if he bled, if what you said, it was Larry Cox that said that he bled, right? He's the one that was.
Yeah, it was Larry. Yeah.
If he bled,
Sovereignty believe
he bled.
Kentucky
He's
Derby.
he's gonna need the time. So okay. Here's a new name. Hi, Larry, Joe, Eddie, and Anthony. Great and informative show as usual. Larry, did Alan Sewell use the sheets to claim and bet on horses? Absolutely. He used the Ragusan sheets. He couldn't wait to get them. He's yes, he did. He did. Him and Bob Hutt. Bob Hutt still uses them. Bob Hutt now is the head of, I think, the head of the whole horseman's committee in all the Pennsylvania tracks, I believe. But Bob Hutt was the one who started Fantasy Lane Stable, and he had horses with Alan Sewell, and he started with a little $30 ad. It was a 1x3-inch ad, and he got starting syndications. I was the one that gave me it. When I got 1986, when I was out, I started American Heritage Standardbred Sales. In fact, I have that brochure right here. And I got $60.5 million within the first month. I had to give it all back because the state police come and they were going to arrest me if I didn't return the money because I wasn't licensed to go to sales or any of that stuff. So racetracks. So he started Fantasyland Stable, and they did it right. I don't. Anyway,
Larry, sovereignty did not. There's no indication that sovereignty bled during the Kentucky Derby. While the winner of the Kentucky Derby did have scrape on his right front pastern above the hoof, likely from clipping heels with the other horses at the start.
yeah.
So
Maybe the blood was from the other horse.
who the hell knows? But
Yeah.
he clipped heels and he scraped up his ankle. So whatever, might have got an infection. Who knows?
Well, I would think if he bled between the winner's circle and everything else, you would.
They would have caught that in a heartbeat, Yeah. Because with the flowers and all that, they didn't wipe his face until he got to the winner's circle.
That's why they got red roses.
Alan Sewell used the sheets all the time, the Ragusan sheets, and he wouldn't make a bet without them. He was addicted to them. Okay, Steve, Eddie is 100% correct. Those frozen balls of dirt on the training track at Belmont are like landmines. The indoor jogging barn is the best option, but you can't get a workout done in there.
Oh, who's Steve Basile? He knows about the track.
Yeah, I think he had horses with somebody. I thought he had horses with you or somebody. I remember that name.
In Pompano.
I don't know. I think he had something to do with the. I forgot.
Who was that lawyer?
What lawyer?
Named Basile.
I don't know.
Years ago, I remember a name like that.
I don't know either.
Okay, let's see. Gary D. Seen horses that crashed on EPO. Terrible. Withdraw. Half fell out. Lost 300 pounds. Very sad. Yeah. Well, at least they lived. I seen a lot that died. It's terrible. Oh God! And these guys at smaller racetracks, and I wouldn't have witnessed this if I didn't help the vets all the time. And it's terrible when you see a horse just dying a slow death because their blood is turned to syrup. And
Larry, remember when we went Pompano and B. Farber? You know B. Farber, right?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, those horses that she had, they were the color of orange. You remember that?
That's why every once in a while they get a question, and I answer two of them, and they said, "Who was the best on Facebook? Who was the best female female driver in harness racing. And I always said Jackie and Gracia, and everybody said Beef Harbor. But when you know what I know and you know about Beef Harbor, you know why she won all them races. So
He couldn't pull them up. Jesus.
I made her a challenge once in the dining room at Pompano. I says, "Give me your worst horse, and I'll give you a horse, and we'll see who can improve on one another." I probably would have lost that bet because I found out later what they were using. I wouldn't have used it. Okay, Larry. That's right, Larry. Smile, and the world smiles with you. Look at that beautiful smile. Look at that beautiful smile she has. Look at that. That's how I used to be, all the way up until about the 70s. No, right around, maybe
she's a very pretty girl.
Yeah. Francis. That can't. Well,
La signora, ¿cómo está?
she's beautiful.
Hey, Eddie, did you ever go to Italy?
No, I might be going soon.
Yeah,
I'm going to become a gondolier.
Does anyone remember Mike the Cop at Yonkers Raceway?
Yes.
100%. Yes, of course.
100. Yep. Good old Mike.
Who was
it? I trained the horse for him.
Mike the Cop?
Yeah, he was a detective.
You had some stable between Frankie Loke, Mike the Cop,
Vinny Gorgeous.
Who?
Vinny Gorgeous.
You had horses for him?
Yep. Before he was Vinny Gorgeous.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
Wow. That poor guy's doing life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Vinny Basciano.
Vinny Basciano. Wow. Larry, Larry, any update on getting, say, Brett Beckwith or any other harness drivers racing today? I never even tried. Because we do this on a Tuesday and Thursday night. I'm sure they're racing. You know, they're racing. I would have to do it on a weekend or something. But I never tried. I never tried. But it would be nice to talk to some of these young kids.
You know Rockingham Park Open?
No.
Harness racing.
No, they didn't. They knocked it down.
Huh?
What are you talking about? They knocked that track down.
No, Madonna, me.
What are you talking about?
Another one. Here we go.
No,
I'm telling you.
No,
I was
Miss.
there the last 3 meets. I won 2 training titles there. What are you talking about? They knocked it down about 8 years ago.
The maiden finished 14th in the Derby.
Oh, beautiful.
Now let me see. Maiden finished 14th. Now, how could who trained that horse? I wish I come better prepared. Who the hell trained that horse?
Who trained the maiden in the Kentucky Derby?
14. He finished 14th. Okay.
The maiden who ran in the 2025 Kentucky Derby was trained by Steve Asmussen. Jeremy?
What was the horse's name?
What was the maiden's name in the Kentucky Derby?
Publisher was the horse?
Ashbet.
I think the horse was Publisher. Now there's a top trainer in the country. Massachusetts, however you say his name. I can't even say his name.
Steve Asmussen.
Steve Asmussen. He has an ex-jockey, brother, father, beautiful farm, beautiful training center, probably trains a couple of 100 horses.
2 sons that are jockeys.
2 sons that are jockeys. Got everything going from I think I saw an interview with him, and I think he just says that I don't understand it. Why you would put a maiden in with the best horses, some of the top 3-year-olds in the country, who had 3 or 4 starts, and everybody knows, the whole world knows that no matter how well you train, or no matter who you train with, nothing takes the place of just one race. No training. No amount of training takes the place of just one race. You have to know that.
That's for sure.
How could you just put a maiden in, now if it's a maiden that had a couple of starts, that's what you have to find out.
How many starts did you have a while with Jeb before you entered him into the jug?
No, he was he was a maiden. He was I think he raced as a 2-year-old. Somebody keeps writing me about him, and somebody who trained him as a 2-year-old and said he was a handful and this and that. The only thing I remember about him, and I'm almost positive he was a maiden, was that he was such a massive bleeder that he bled walking from barn to barn. I mean, he was just anyway. Find out if that horse maiden, if he ever raced before, because I just made a stupid statement, because you could be a maiden that had 5 starts. I don't know. I'm just assuming that he never, that this
His name is Publisher, right?
Yeah, Publisher. Did he have any races? Did you see?
I'm trying to find out.
Just go to the racing form.
Easy with that. What do you think I
He had 4 or 5 races.
He did?
Yeah. It wasn't his first start, if that's what you're thinking.
Well, that's what I thought. So the statement I made was idiotic as usual.
I can't believe I ran a Ortiz Road though. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, we got, just make sure that he had starts. Yeah, he wouldn't have no, he couldn't have, because to get in the Kentucky Derby, you had to have points, right? You had to race.
Or supplement. And to supplement $5 million race is a lot of money.
You got to find that out. You got to find that out for sure, Eddie. Find that out.
Yes, sir.
I shouldn't be making statements when I don't know what I'm talking about. I shouldn't say these things. Anyway, just for the record, what I said was true. That no amount of training is equal to one race. The horse.
I think they said he had 4 or 5 starts.
If he did, then I'm wrong. I shouldn't have said what I said. He just never won a race. When I hear maiden, I think it's maiden start. Not that he's a maiden. It was a maiden start. He couldn't have been a maiden start because you had a race before to get points unless you supplemented. Who knows? I don't know.
You're confusing a first-time starter and a maiden.
Yeah. That's what happens when you don't know what you're talking about.
You know what you're talking about.
You know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Unless it's an algorithm.
And there's another word.
You allegedly know what you're talking about.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And Larry had 7 starts before the Kentucky Derby. He was winless in those 7 starts, making him a maiden going into the Derby.
Okay, so I was wrong. So now I have to apologize to the trainer because I made a stupid statement, because I thought he was the Kentucky Derby was his first lifetime start, and that he's probably supplemented him to get in, which I don't even know if you could or not, but I just made a stupid statement. But on the other hand,
you see what? He probably got points, bro, because, okay, his last start was the Arkansas Derby. He finished 2nd. Okay, he had 7 starts, 2 seconds, 3 thirds, earning $407,000. Higher buyer number 95, Arkansas Derby, American Pharaoh. That's about it. You know?
I just made a stupid statement.
That's all. Everybody makes mistakes. No big deal.
That's
Turn
not
the
a
page.
stupid statement. It's just a bit.
It's your statement.
It's a stupid statement.
Not
I
stupid.
know what I'm talking about. I shouldn't, but I.
This is a show. Anything goes. You talk.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
it.
but you gotta don't just run your
You're
mouth.
not criticizing people. You're not ridiculing them. Not disrespecting.
Okay,
them.
Joe. Hey, gentlemen, the point system is the first 3 finishes in the previous stakes. Okay, so
Basically, it's more than that.
I don't know. I should know if we're going to talk about it. I should know, but I don't know, and that's that. All I know is that it's not fair to have 20 horses in a field when half of them really don't belong. And the proof of that is that they're strung out a quarter of a mile at the finish and getting in the way of horses that shouldn't have gotten in trouble. Okay, let's see. None except 3 of the horses have raced on Lasix. 2-year-olds and 3-year-old in stake races can't be on Lasix. All right, somebody got to help me with this because none except 3 of these horses have raced on Lasix. 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds in stake races can't be.
No, they can't race on Lasix in stake races. That's 2 or 3-year-olds, 4 or 5, whatever the heck the age is.
And that so in the thoroughbred and thoroughbred racing, if you have a horse that's racing 4 or 5 races on Lasix, and then you have a stake race coming up, he can't race on Lasix?
No Lasix. Unless stipulated on the program, it's a Lasix race, which is very rare.
Now we have to find out. Whatever. Okay, but that's good to know. See, I'm learning something here.
None of except 3 of the horses that he wrote. None except 3 of the horses have raced on Lasix. Well, in the Derby, 3 horses out of that 20 did not race on Lasix, before they raced the Kentucky Derby. That's what that first part means.
Now, why is that rule?
No, there wasn't a rule. It was just that the trainers, like I have a 2-year-old per se. She's not on Lasix. Now, if she gets to the races, I'm not going to put her on Lasix till there is basically any signs of her bleeding or having any type of dysfunction. But what they're trying to say is that it's up to the trainer to put a horse on Lasix, and if she happens to become a stake horse per se, my first couple of races, I didn't race on Lasix, so I'm not going to keep her on it. I'm not going to put her on it.
Here's another bullshit contradiction. That the rules of the racetrack is the commission rules are that you can race on Lasix.
Yes.
But you can't race on Lasix in a stake race.
Yes.
Why?
Ridiculous.
Why? Now isn't the commission supposed to take care of the horse? They're worried about protecting the public and all that bullshit. How the fuck are you protecting the public by making a horse that raced on Lasix, even though I'm against Lasix, but let's say it probably helps the horses that don't bleed that much. It probably helps them because it lowers the blood count. That does a lot of stuff. And then he's in a stake race and he can't be on Lasix. How are you protecting the betting public? How are you helping the horse? How are you helping the trainer? How are you helping the owner? How are you helping anybody with this bullshit rule?
It's the same answer. You got idiots running the show.
That's a bullshit rule because I had a horse I claimed off Top Pletcher that I win all my New York breed allowances and everything. I said, let me try him in a stake race. Now this horse been racing on 10 cc's of Lasix. I mean, he bled like a freight train. I raced him in a stake race. I was telling Joe today, he was distanced. He bled, and it took me weeks to get him back to almost normal. So it is if you have a horse that is a profusely bleeder and you want to race in a stake, you're backed against the wall because they can't run without it. Some of them.
Well, I just want to ask the commissioners and whoever writes these rules why.
I'm going to ask the commission.
Why?
I'm going to give you the answer next Tuesday.
Like this. How could you spend, let's say that you spent $2 million for a yearling. All right. Then he comes up and for whatever reasons, maybe has allergies, maybe has a bit of a problem and everything else. And he bleeds a little bit under great pressure, but the Lasix drops the blood pressure enough and gets rid of, I won't get into that, but drops the blood pressure enough where he don't bleed. Okay. That's a legitimate spot for Lasix. Now, you spend $2 million, you got him in the Kentucky Derby, and they say you can't use Lasix. How is that helping how's that helping anybody? How I would like to ask the people who wrote this rule, how is that helping anybody? Your whole fucking bullshit rules are to protect the public, protecting the horse and everything.
Consistency.
Yeah, consistency, and then the whole thing is a one big contradiction.
Yeah,
you got idiots running the show. That's why
they change rules every day. They change the rules. Now I'm going to tell you, for instance, I just want to bring this up quick. I entered a horse last Thursday for this Thursday coming up. Okay. Now in the interim, I breezed him the other day. I breezed him in 46-2. Okay. Well, he pops a quarter crack. All right. So now he's in to go. So I had to put a Z bar shoe on. All right. I called the B. McKinley to come and help me out and see if he could patch it, but he was in the Derby. So I put a Z bar on him. All right. So now I called up the stewards and I said, listen, I don't like this rule that we have to draw a week in advance. It used to be a 72-hour window. Now it's 7 days. Anything could happen in 7 days. What I was trying to get at is, he says, well, you can't race the horse with a Z-bar because it wasn't classified as time of entry. I says, you dirty son of a gun. Now, that's see the rules? They change these damn rules.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When you enter a horse, is there a spot there where you have to put what kind of shoes? Number one. Number two, on the program, do they tell you what kind of shoes or that the horse change shoes? I don't know the answers to these. I'm asking.
Well, when you enter a horse, you have to, any change of equipment, you say bar shoes, Z bar. You have to stipulate the type of shoe. Yeah.
No. So you're telling me is the only thing that it says change of equipment, or does it say shoes?
It doesn't say equipment. It just says you have any change of equipment. So you tell them bar shoes.
So now they're assuming that shoes are equipment.
Yeah.
Is that? Do you think that between the four of us now, would you consider shoes equipment change?
No,
Well,
I wouldn't think so.
Well, as far as the victory plate to a queen's plate and to a bar shoe, it's a shoe, but it's a piece of equipment that you're adding.
It's not equipment. It's a shoe.
It's a shoe.
I don't know.
A horse wears shoes even when he's not racing.
Right.
So it's not like it's just for the race.
Yeah.
Horses wear shoes all week. It's like us.
And
What are you going to get in to patch that crack?
I'm hoping for him to come, So.
I know he was at the Derby because he sent me inches. That
Yeah,
he
me too. He apologized to me. He says, "Well, I'm racing Thursday. I have an entry Thursday, so I'm basically gonna maybe 100%. I think maybe 80%. I'm gonna scratch that big white horse. That's the one that popped the quarter crack. Yeah, I probably will go because there won't be no penalty, so I could re-enter him anyway because it's an entry, same trainer, same owner, and so there's a race that's much easier for him on the 17th. So I might aim for that one, but
you want to do. Let me give you just my opinion, Eddie. And
yes,
I know you already
ahead.
pushed you on
No,
him. And
I
everything else.
respect your opinion. Go ahead.
Let Ian come down and let him
Yes.
catch that quarter crack and put a glue on it the
Yes.
second time.
Yeah.
Way,
Well, he had glue ons. That
leave
was
leave them on for a month and a half, 2 months. The foot will only grow a little bit more than a quarter of an inch. It's not going to make a difference, but you'll give that crack plenty of time. In 2 months, that crack will grow out a half an inch if it's into the hairline already. So
it's not up to the hairline. So what I did was I told the blacksmith to burn the top and bottom to sear it so it doesn't advance. Put it out.
Yeah, put a big like X right above the crack, so
yeah,
can't do anything
yeah.
on it. Yeah, but
right.
Just let Ian do it and put a.
No, I know. I called him, and he apologized. He's a nice guy, hell of a nice guy, and very good with a horse's foot. Very good.
He's the best. He's the best. He come to Parks Racetrack because when I got this horse, but my thumbs don't work too good. My thumbs don't work, and I have that carpal tunnel, and I can't even open a soda bottle. I can't.
You and me both. My hands are done.
So I was trying to put glue on. I was going to put glue ones on, and I was going to try to do it myself, but for some reason he called me, and we talked for a while, and he asked me what I was doing. I told him, I says, I'm at this training center near Parks Racetrack, and tomorrow I'm putting a pair of glue ones on. And he says, don't do nothing. I'm coming down. And he did. He came down. He put the glue ones on for me. And because I tried the day before in reality, and boy, did I screw everything up. I had to stop because first of all, I couldn't bend down. I couldn't hold the horse's foot up long enough. So I had to try it. It was just a mess. But anyway.
It's a bitch getting old, brother.
Okay, let's go down some more of these things. Inside of horse 17 nose was bright red. Looked to me like it was bleeding. Well, that's what it is. Right inside the nose is bright red. It's all, that's what it is at that point. So maybe you miss, that's
the color of their nostril inside.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't blood. Okay, Steve, I have horses with George Anthony.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
George Anthony was on the show. Oh, that's who that guy. Yeah, that's right. That's who that guy was. Yeah.
I know him now. Yeah.
Yeah. Is our trainer. We're entering a horse on the turf on the 17th. I've met you many times with George, Eddie.
Yeah, now I know him. Yeah. I know him now. Yeah. I just didn't. The name didn't ring a bell,
Okay. You have any grass horses, Ed?
No. I had one, but they're not writing cheap turf races, so I'm not going to put her in an allowance and get crucified. So,
hey Joe, here's one for you. Gary D wants to know: did Mike the cop drive the ambulance to get you out of the Yonkers?
No, it was two ambulance drivers. They were paramedics. They didn't know what hit them that night.
It was Dr. Ben Casey and Dr. Zorba.
No, it was thank God they were there.
Rick Simon says, Joe, how much would you pay me to work at your ice cream stand? Rick Simon.
How much would I pay you? Whatever you want.
I think he's only kidding.
You could have all ice cream you want all day.
Oh, that guy is gonna call you. He called me again. He's going to come and see you.
Who?
Remember the guy I told you? I think
Yeah,
he's
you told me
black?
someone was gonna call.
Yeah, he's not black. He's Spanish. The guy called me up. He says, "I'm not black. I'm Spanish." So, and we talk. He calls me all the time. He's a good, really good guy. But he said he was going to the doctor. He had a bit of a problem, and then he said he was going to go see you.
Does he know me?
No.
So what is he coming to see me for?
A job.
Hello. He raced at the Meadowlands. He knows you. You know, whatever.
Oh, okay. So okay.
Just to say hello. And he's going to have an ice cream.
Okay.
Publisher, hot rod horse player. Publisher ran 8 times, hit the board 5 times.
I said that already.
Okay, that was the maiden.
Yeah.
So, Hot Rod, you must think I'm a real asshole for making that statement I made, because I just assumed he was a maiden that never raced.
Get over it, Larry. It was no big deal.
Ah,
He was a maiden.
yeah,
Hot Rod Lincoln. Remember that song, Hot Rod Lincoln?
Yeah.
Commander Cody.
8 starts, hit the board 5 times.
He was second in the Arkansas Derby. That's where he got his points from.
Yeah, so I guess he belonged. Okay, he had 7 starts.
Yeah, that's what I said. But he said 8.
Has more wins than anyone, and also has more suspensions and positives than anyone. Him and Baffert. Yeah. Well, I tell you
10,000 races.
That it just goes to prove that everybody's looking for an edge, and like I said 100 times, thousands of horses don't die of heart attacks, and
that's for sure.
And we can go on to that whole chemistry, what happens with all of these drugs, and how they deplete the whole electrolyte system in the horse, and how all the bones get depleted, and on and on and on and on. We can have a whole show about that. But you're right, David, that I think Steve is right under Baffert when it comes to horses that died from heart attacks, and it's just terrible. But what are you going to do? I don't think there's 3 of us here right on the screen now that have been in the business. Between the 3 of us, we have 60, 50, 100. We have almost 200 years experience with horses, and I don't think I don't think between all of us in 200 years of experience we had 2 horses die of heart attacks.
No,
I have none.
None. I have none.
First of all, when you use Epigen, it makes the blood so thick that it clots, and that's why they're getting heart attacks.
Yeah, and then the heart got to beat faster,
Right.
and
It's
harder.
working twice as hard to push it through.
Right.
I never used it. I swear I never used Epigen. I would never do that to a horse.
Nope.
I can't stand it. It was the ruination of the business.
Nope.
Has a maiden ever won a derby? I don't know.
Yeah, 3 of them.
Yeah.
Hmm?
With all the top horses Asmussen has, do you really think Irad is going to refuse him? What does that mean?
Of all the horses Asmussen has, do you really think Irad is... Well, because he rode the maiden. You think he's going to refuse?
Well, he's not going to say no. Yeah.
Yeah, of course not. He's not
Right.
going to say.
Plus,
And he maiden win the Kentucky Derby.
yes, Michael. Last one was in 1933. Broke his tip. Now, yes, Michael?
Yeah, that's a maiden who won the Kentucky Derby in 1933.
I thought there was 3 of them. Maybe not.
Okay. Steve Asmussen trained the maiden. Yes. Okay. Yes, that Michael 3 times 85. Yes. Oh, these guys are right on the ball here. Wow. If we
Yeah,
do,
there is Anthony. There is three.
There is three, right?
Buchanan in 1884, Sabarton in 1919, Broken Tip in 1933.
yeah, you guys are good. If we talk about this stuff, I got to. There's no sense
That's
in.
what I was telling Joe today, that we have to study up on some things so we can have a good podcast that the public could intervene and ask questions, and with our background and knowledge, we could have a good podcast instead of talking about.
Hey, Eddie,
What?
tomorrow morning I have a doctor's appointment.
Yes, sir.
And the reason I remembered was because the doctor called me up and said, don't forget your appointment. And it's all over my messages on the phone, which I look at.
Yeah.
Since then, as soon as I got that, I have pieces of paper like this all over the house. Doctor's appointment at 10 o'clock. Doctor's appointment. No matter where I go, there's a note, doctor's appointments. So what would be the sense of me studying up on all of this stuff when the next day I'll forget?
Yeah.
So
No, I said, after everything is said and done, I'm in the same boat as you.
Me too.
I go Tuesdays for my infusions. I go to the heart doctor. I go to
what infusions?
I get infusion. I got myeloma.
What?
Yeah.
You got multiple myeloma?
Yeah, stage 1 I got.
What is that?
It's a blood cancer.
Yeah. The bone marrow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, long. I've been going for treatments for
my mother had it for 15 years.
Yeah.
They can control that. You're okay.
They got me under some type of regimen of shit. I don't know what the fuck it is. I sit 2-3 hours, I watched a match game. I watched all the bullshit. And there's other people worse shape than me. So we talk. We talk about horses, talk about life, kids, grandchildren, So we're on an escalator, Larry. We're going up or down, we don't know. But so we'll see what happens.
Well, tomorrow I go for the another CAT scan, and the surgeon wants to see me, and who the hell knows?
All right, that's it. You just gotta. That's it. Pray to the good Lord Jesus Christ and hope everything comes out okay.
That's it.
Okay. Dave says publisher will run in a maiden special at Churchill and be 3 to 5 minutes.
True. And probably lose.
Okay, the horse was a maiden who made 400,000. Wow. Oh, you had a maiden that went almost over 200,000, didn't you, Ed?
373.
Wow.
That's
Larry
nice, huh?
named his next horse Stupid Statement. Tom Lusty, the problem I have is I'm very, very opinionated, and I think sometimes
you talk before you think.
Yeah, I talk too much. I should
not too much.
A maiden, I should have realized that you could have 30 starts and still be a maiden, but I had to make that stupid fucking statement, and that's another notch.
Man, you're gonna let that bother you?
Oh man, you got a little sleep tonight.
Already.
Go get yourself a Belgian waffle.
Worried about that. I wish that was my big mistake in life.
No, but I was right. If I was still in the horse business, I'd name the next horse I got Stupid Statement.
No,
Let's
that's
go.
the second
Come
one.
down. Come to Belmont.
The second one is Stupid Statement. The first one is Algorithm.
Okay.
All right, Dave McKenna, thanks to the pace meltdown in the Arkansas Derby, courtesy of
Rafael Bejarano. That's a jockey, yeah. Larry, did you ever have your Belgian waffle the other night?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Yeah. I'm going to have one again tonight.
All right.
And I'm having my turnover tonight.
Yeah. Listen, you know that song that my friends wrote for me, It's Getting Late?
Yeah.
I don't care no more. I lost 40 something pounds in the last 6 months. And now I'm starting to gain it back a little bit. And I'm going to eat anything and everything. I don't care.
All right. Have a bran mash.
You want some pigeons, Larry? I'll send you some pigeons.
No, I had enough of them. I haven't had a pigeon now. And do you know that? So when somebody called me up and said that pigeons are a delicacy.
Yes.
Well, they weren't a delicacy when we were killing them with slingshots. Me and 2 black grooms, and
It's just the squabs, Larry, the babies, not the whole pigeon, not the grown pigeons.
Did they taste like chicken?
No, the squabs, they're very sweet. Before when they hatch, before they get the pin hair, that's when they take them, the Italians, and they put them in the sauce. And they're very sweet. But a regular pigeon, no.
You know, I have to tell you something, and I like I said in the book, at the end of the book, I don't know where the hell it is, but I made Shaman put it in the book that something like why you doing this or whatever. And I said, I'm trying to get to heaven. So there's a lot of things I say. When I was in I think it was I think it was Dover Downs. I was so hungry. I was in really bad shape. And when the feed guy came, it was in the afternoon, I said, listen, if you want some help, I'll help you unload the hay and the straw and everything. I'll go from barn to barn. And he said, okay. And he used to give me like $10, and I would help him in the afternoon till we unloaded the truck. And one time he was taking I was on top of the truck and bringing the hay from the middle over to the end, and he would take it with the hook and then just throw it on. And when he bent over like this, he had a bunch of money and it fell out of his pocket. And I'm standing up there and I see the money. And I said, "Oh my, should I tell him or should?" And I never told him. And after that, he said, "Okay, we're all done." He hopped in the truck. I hopped down and get in the cab, and I picked up the money. And it was about, I don't know, $80, $90, something like that. And I went out that night and I got the biggest steak and everything. And you do that, and it was.
You were hungry.
The stuff that you do when you're up against it.
Did you go back to work from the next day?
Yeah, whenever anybody wanted help, I stayed at the barn all day. I mean, where was I going? I lived in the tack room during them years. Them years when I got thrown out of Yonkers, I lived in tack rooms. And in the wintertime, I lived in the stall with the horses because the tack rooms, in some of them places, were dirt floors. No heat.
Yeah. You know what? Me and Ron Ridden shared a tack room in Monticello.
Ron Ridden. Derby was 327-1 on the winner was nice.
Larry, I know we're like 90% through the show, but how come the pictures are so small of us tonight? Every week you have them bigger. I'm just noticing how small we are.
No, that's it.
Yeah, really? That's how it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been like
it can only go that way or this way.
That's the big way, yeah.
Okay, yeah, now it's better.
It's been like that.
You look the same though, Joe.
You didn't grow any.
It's almost the same.
Okay, well, I don't know. For some reason it looks smaller.
Eddie disappeared.
No, I'm leaning back.
That's what Anthony did. He had to move from downstairs to upstairs.
Yeah. Now I'm back upstairs.
Now he don't freeze no more. He got a nice chair.
You got a good reception.
Well, I was nice downstairs in my recliner, but my freaking computer wouldn't boot up, so I had to grab everything and come back up here. I'm gonna stay up here though.
All right. Dave McKenna says that thanks to Sandman backers and the Japan runner, they sucked up a lot of money, and the winner went off at 7-1. That's true. I know my friend bet on Sandman. That was the gray horse.
Yeah.
You can't supplement in the Derby. You hear that, Eddie? You said maybe supplement. You said you can't supplement in the Derby.
Right. It's a point system, right?
I,
You're right.
I thought that trip will come back short.
Yes. $115 was way too short. Yeah.
Hot rod horse player. I don't think Lazex is good. Is good none. I don't think Lazex is good none.
We just don't think Lazex is good, period.
Yeah. American racing should do what the UK does. They don't race on Lazex, right? And that's what, there was a big trainer in the thoroughbreds, I forget his name, that he used to go over and buy all these horses from, foreign countries and then bring them here, put them on Lazex. I mean, to me, it was idiotic, but that was another Hall of Famer. So who am I to say? Okay, inconsistent consistency. Inconsistent consistency.
Inconsistent
Consistent.
Say that 5 times quick.
I didn't say it once.
That's this show, right? Inconsistent consistency. Okay, Jordy, did you know Sundance is going to watch your dog? Oh, did you know Sundance is going to watch your dog on Saturday? Did you know Sundance? Oh, I didn't know that. How the hell? I don't know who Jody is, but I guess
Jordy.
Eddie, will you be at the Belmont?
Yes. We're in Saratoga, I guess. Yeah.
Anthony, what pictures are behind you? Anthony gave me 3 other races that I have to wait for my friend Tom to put them up. And also Freddie gave me some stuff. The problem is I can't learn how to do it myself because every time I get information that I have to upload, whether it be a video or audio, it all has to be downsized or it comes in a different platform. You have to know how to change the platform. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. He tried to teach me and I screwed up and I don't want to learn anymore because I forget. So I'm at the mercy of Tom. And so I'm just at the
All right,
mercy.
I could just send you a thumb drive if you want, instead of going through all that.
But I don't know, even if you give me the thumb drive, how do I get it onto here?
You did it last time, the same way you did it last time.
No,
I gave you 12 races, Larry, on the thumb drive.
Anything that you see that I could put up, whether it be a song, video, Tom does it. I know how to do
But
nothing.
you did it last time yourself. When you showed my races, they were on a thumb drive. You put in the USB port. You put them up. Tom
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You said, "Look how good I'm getting at this."
No,
And
because
you put them up.
Tom already programmed it. Hey, he showed me what to do. I hit present and then video file. And then I
So you put them on there.
go to desktop and then I go to whatever I want, like Frank.
Yeah.
He did all of this.
Okay.
How would I know how to do it?
Right.
I don't
Well,
know.
Jordy, the pictures behind me is Neverly Noble, Keystone 60, Fire and Smoke, Eastern Chief, just a few horses. I have a whole bunch of pictures, but my wall is small. I couldn't put much up. But that's what's up there.
Okay, here's Angelique.
Angel like you.
Eddie. My dad has that as well.
Yeah.
Hear that, Ed?
Yes, thank you, Angelique.
Okay, God bless, Eddie.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Sundance, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. Yeah, that's right. I need to get something with the algorithms.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. Aneurysm.
Does Anthony have? They want to know what pictures.
Yeah, I told her already. She said thanks, Anthony, after that.
Okay.
Now, before we sign off, Larry, I just want to tell you that I talked to John Platino today. He had called me, and we had a real nice conversation. He's doing really good. He feels really good. And he says next time I come up to Jersey, he wants to go to dinner, meet you and him, dinner or lunch. So
yeah, we were supposed to go. We were supposed to go into Meadowlands Open. He said when he comes down, but there were a couple of things that happened. That's when I was going through all that. I was going through, and I wouldn't have went because anyway, it was so.
Yeah, well, he's looking forward to going. He's been watching the podcast. He's seen all the races and stuff. Yeah, he's doing good. We had a lot of laughs, like the old days.
There's one thing I want to see before we go. I want to see if I could do this. Now, see, normally I have all this. I have all this stuff up. See, I just hit this, and then this comes up. I hit this, and this comes up, because I already have that programmed on the thing. Now I have. It says add this. Now let me see if this worked. We might get disconnected. I don't know, but I'm going to try. If we get disconnected, thanks, folks, for watching, and I'll see you guys. But here, I want to try this. This is how I add pictures onto the stuff. Okay, you guys still there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So now, whenever somebody says something, instead of saying, "Oh, I don't have that picture up," I could say, "Let's see what happens." So no, that picture comes right over here, the one I just did, and then I could show it. Okay, I didn't know I could do that.
Look at that.
I didn't know I could do. What happened here? Let me try that one more time. Oh, let me get rid of this. Hold on. Okay, let me try it one more time. Okay. Okay, this is me and Frank Collada.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I could do that. So whenever we're talking about something.
Oh, you've been doing that.
No, I've been doing. See what I had to go through that whole thing? I had to go through that whole thing. I had to go through. Let me get rid of this. See, when I hit this add a picture, I had to go through this. Then this shows all the pictures I have. See all of this? Can you see it?
No, we don't see anything.
How the hell are we going to see your computer, you banana?
Oh, you don't see it. See, the other way, I already have these like this. I already have programmed on. All I got to do is
hit the picture. There he is.
There he is, this buddy.
So anyway, okay, that's enough.
Larry, how many years ago did Frank Collada die?
Oh God, you know the sad part about Frank. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna tell you right now. Wait, let me just. He had a bus built because he was one of the first ones to do the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And
he did the tour of Chicago Mob Museum.
Yeah, he was, and then he started this coffee with Collada, and I mean he was really doing well. And then he built a bus, which I have the picture. I'm going to show it to you. I'm looking for this as we're talking. Then he built the bus, and the whole bus was a big studio, and he was going to do the podcast from the studio. And I was going to be his first guest, and we were going to talk about that whole chapter that he put in his book. And he was the real reason why I wrote my book, because that chapter, he said that on his tour, he would sell the book, and the people would ask. The questions he got asked about the most was that chapter that me and him did in '74, and so when he became very, very successful, And then they asked him to be the advisor for the movie Casino, and he made I think $250,000 there. Plus, he was in the movie. Plus, he wrote a couple of books, and he was the one that convinced me to write my book. Then he built a big bust, which is the picture I'm looking for right now. I'll just spend another minute or two looking for the picture. He built a big, beautiful bust, and he turned it into a studio, and I was going to be his first guest. And his first podcast was going to be about that incident when I went to see him in prison, and when he come out, and then we hunted down Fat Tony, and but I can't find the picture. I'll get it next time. I got too many pictures there. But that was going to be it. Anyway, that's it, guys. Eddie's sleeping.
No, I ain't sleeping. I'm leaning back.
I gotta get the turn over.
I'll talk to you guys during the week. Thursday, I don't know who's coming on Thursday. I think Freddie's coming on. He sent me his show. He put it on a good show to me, but I can't upload it. It's not even a video, it's audio, but I can't do it without Tom. So if Tom gets back to me, I hate to bug the guy because he's busy as hell. But if he gets back to me, I'll do it. And when he does get back to me, Anthony, I'll put your 3 races on too.
And Joe's races.
And Joe's, Joe, I got Joe's races, but I only put 3 of his races on my system.
Put the one up with Alan Joppa when he wins the Titan Cup or that Ray, whatever it was, at the Meadowlands. That's a nice race.
I'd have to go through all of them again.
It's the only one at the Meadowlands.
All right. Okay. That's it. I'm going to play It's Getting Late.
Everybody knows. Did you listen to that song I told you to listen to?
Yes. It's 5 minutes long, that song.
Did you like it?
No. I mean, I like the words, but I don't like that kind of music. You know.
Oh.
Yeah, but I love him. I love Lenny.
That guy's so talented, Larry.
Yeah, I know. But first of all,
the words are cool.
Yeah, the words are nice, but I listened to it that night. I was eating my ice cream with waffles. That's where I'm going now. So
yeah, me too. All right, guys. See you Tuesday. Larry, let me know how you make out at the doctor tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going for a CAT scan. They tell you right away the CAT scan.
Nah, sometimes not. Might take a day or two.
They'll give you the readout.
Yeah.
Said I got to go see a doctor first. Then I got to go get some stuff from the pharmacy and drink it. And then 2 hours later,
Oh, you're doing
Yeah, you gotta go through all that shit.
You're doing the damn contrast shit. Yeah.
All right. Good night, guys. I'm gonna.
All right, Larry. I'm praying for you, buddy.
Larry, I'm gonna find out.
That's a good report.
Joe.
Thank you. I'm gonna find out about the Lasix. Why that rule is you can race on it, but you can't race on the stake races. I'm gonna find out that rule. I'm gonna call the commission tomorrow.
That's ridiculous.
Okay. And
all right. Good night, everybody.
And also state to state. Some states allow it, some states don't, whether it's an overnight race or what. So anyway. All right. Good night, guys.
All right, Larry. Good luck tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Joe.
Those grudges, ditch those judges, they're just weighing you down. Drop the haters, procrastinators, 'cause one man's smile is just another one's frown. When it's time for the end, ain't no warning, my friend. One day you're here, next stop the pearly gates. So listen close to what I'm saying. Lighten up, it's getting late. Dump collections, self-reflections, they're just covered in dust. Why obsess, worry, or stress? stress. Just ask yourself, what's the fuss? When your doctor calls you on a Sunday afternoon, gonna be a blue Monday, you'll be howling at the moon. You know you never can cheat fate. Lighten up, it's getting late. Forget bling and glitter, text and Twitter. Don't need it to make my case. Say it old school, face to face. Dump the users, soul abusers, turn and walk away. Give yourself a kick in the ass, then raise your glass. Let's toast to the past and make the most of today. Keep the faith, rise above, do the things that you love. Find a reason every day to celebrate. So listen close to what I'm saying. Lighten up, it's getting late. Live it well, have a blast. Live it full, life goes fast. You're carrying around too much dead weight. All the simple things are all that matter. Lighten up, it's getting late. Oh, what the hell? IGL. Oh, lighten up, it's getting late.
Hi, folks.